Good morning, people. It is the last dash, the last passage on the Mad Dash. We are here in Ekis on the eastern side of Lombok, and today we're going all the way around the bottom of Lombok to Gili Asahan, where we'll be leaving Trade Runner on a mooring to go back to France and start our little family. Go and support Marie in her last weeks of pregnancy. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. Learning by Doing presents The Mad Dash. Watch us every Tuesday morning on YouTube. Join me and multiple crew members as I take our Krabi catamaran from Sydney, Australia all the way up around the top to Lombok in Indonesia. Made possible by our patrons. Thank you very much, you guys, and also our sponsors here on board for this trip. Thanks so much, guys. So just before dawn we were woken by a local guy just ripping past real close to us in his little souped up canoe, probably taking surfers over to Ekis. Anyway, we were up, so up came the anchor and off we went. Ekis is not what the bay is called. Ekis, I think, is the town. Anyway, this bay is full of FADs, which is a fish attracting device, I think it's called, or a fish aggravation device, or aggregation, I don't know, aggregational. Anyway, it's a FAD, and they're just basically a platform that's anchored to the bottom, and it causes sort of like a roof, and so fish apparently attracted underneath it. Anyway, this bay is full of them. The locals come out and tie up to them and fish around them and things like that. You've got to be pretty careful. Coming in at night would be a bit sketchy because obviously they're way too small. They're made out of wood. The radar's not going to see them. And yeah, you could just come in real slow with a light on the bow, I guess. But yeah, there's hundreds of them. Ekis is a really famous surf place, as I said. So we had a good view of the rollers steaming into the bay as we left. Yeah, so it's a pretty protected anchorage in there, but as soon as we got out of the mouth of the bay a little bit, the wind started filling in, and it was from a perfect angle, about 15 to 18 knots. Yeah, it was just sails up and off we went. We were doing over 10 knots, 10, 11, 12 knots constant, and I was so happy. Just perfect ending for the trip. Didn't last for that long, but it was a great start. So after about an hour or so, beautiful sailing, we were loving it. There's a bit of a swell had picked up from the ocean, obviously, and we started to see some boats in between the swells, getting closer. And yeah, well, what an amazing thing. We must have just been in the middle of a sea mound or a weird area, but that must have been the fishing hotspot for these local fishermen, because there had to be 100 of these little boats out there. They were trolling, just zigzagging around in between the swells, trolling for fish. Some of them had kites up where they put a kite down to a lure, so they pull them and it keeps the lure on the surface. I'm not quite sure how that works, but they had kites up, so that was pretty hard to dodge them, because we would sort of dodge the boats themselves, but then the kites would be out over top of them over to the right somewhere because of the wind blowing them, and so we had to watch out that we didn't snag them in our mast and sails. And these guys were just not really giving us any space, and some of them were not that friendly. We were obviously sailing right through the middle of their fishing ground, but it's quite an experience. Shortly after we saw the last boat, we passed this rock out in the middle of the bay here. That sort of indicates the structure of the bottom is probably, you know, a lot of seamounts, a lot of little structure underneath that causes a turbulence and a lot of food in the water, good fishing grounds, that sort of thing. Interestingly, this had a tower on it with a light on it, which is very, very untypical for Indonesia. I guess that means that once upon a time a ship probably hit it and sunk there, and then they put a tower on it after. By the time we'd rounded the southeast corner of Lombok and started heading up north, the wind had died out completely and we were motoring. Started heading up there. We're really on the final patches here, and I was completely relaxed. I wasn't worried whether the wind had gone out, whether we were motoring or not. I was breathing big sighs of relief that we'd basically made it, and it was all just, you know, a few miles to go. We passed a spot that I really love. It's called Banco, or better known to surfers as Desert Point. Very famous amongst you know, barrel riders. That's one of the best lefts in the world. The surf comes up out of the Indian Ocean, and just when it hits, it's just one of the best formed waves in the world. It wasn't firing on this day. There were still waves, as you can see, but no one really on it. Has to be really firing to work this place, but yeah, good to see. In this little bay is the town of Banco, and all those little boats you see, they're little outrigger canoes that sail, and they're fishermen that go out in the Lombok Strait. 2024, I'm going to anchor over there and film this for you guys. It's pretty incredible. Well, we made it. We made it to Gili Asahan. End of the mad dash. This is where I'll be leaving the boat, and yeah, flying to France to be with Marie for the last few weeks of the pregnancy, and then yeah, little baby will be joining us. Yeah, it's been a hell of a trip to get up here. I don't even know how many miles I've done. It's probably close to 4,000 maybe since I left. Well, from Eden anyway, but probably even from Sydney, probably 4,000. Yeah, it went by pretty fast. Sometimes it went slow, like waiting in Early Beach for the outcome of the collision settlement. That took a while. It seemed to take forever, but yeah, since we've been moving again, it's just gone by in a bit of a flash, a bit of a mad dash, I guess. But since fixing the boat, nothing's gone wrong. I've broken 2 reefing lines on the first reef, so I've got a problem with the ring that it's chafing through the line, but I'll fix that with some sort of a fix next year when I get back. But otherwise the boat's just gone amazingly, just friggin' flying. So nice, so comfortable. And yeah, we're here in beautiful place, Gili Asahan. We were here a few times, Marie and I, and during COVID, and yeah, it's a pretty special place for us, so we'll go ashore tonight. And there's friends of ours own a resort here, the Eco Lodge, and the Italian place, great pizzas and wine and beer and that, so we'll go over there and have a pizza and a beer tonight. We've got a little rum and coke celebration.
There you go.
Cheers, mate.
End of the mad dash.
Thanks for joining on this trip.
Cheers, man.
How did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it. And I keep my 100% record. Zero sickness.
Yeah, no sickness. Actually, it's 100% record of the whole mad dash. No one was seasick.
No one
was seasick. I guess that says a lot for the cat. Very comfortable ride on the boat. And what did you think? This is your sort of first sailing experience?
Yes, in such a catamaran performance cat, I call it. Yes, it was, and it was awesome. Now it will be spoiled for speed.
Yeah, so we did about, I think it was exactly a week, right? We left Roti a week ago, a Monday. Yeah. So it's Monday today, a week ago, and I think we did about 600 miles. Yeah, two 24-hour overnighters and then a couple of day legs. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Had a bit of a stop in Komodo, as you saw, a bit of a swim there, and yeah, easy little 50-mile leg today around the corner, down the south of Lombok around to here, and yeah, got a mooring buoy here, and yeah, stoked. Yes. Okay. Epic, you could join this last leg and get some experience. Well, I guess at this stage you still call it dreaming.
Yes, that's right.
But he would, as in actually, I think every single person that joined me on this trip wants to, dreams of, already has, like, so everyone wants to do this. Apart from the 2 backpackers from Darwin to Kupang, they're just backpacking, wanting to get to Indonesia. But apart from them, everyone else plans to buy a boat and do this sort of lifestyle. Definitely like spread the experience around amongst people who wanted to suck up that knowledge, and that's a good inspiration for me. Just to show what the lifestyle is about, and you gain way more experience actually doing this than doing a course or something, I would say.
Or any charter or anything like that. Yes, because I was thinking, of like at some point maybe going in a charter, but I don't think you will learn really anything.
Yeah.
I mean a few things here and there, but here you really have like hands-on experience.
Hands-on, it's learning by doing, mate. Yeah. Learning by doing. And every day you're just doing stuff, whether it's anchoring or navigating or night passages, night watches, fixing little things. And so, yeah, I think it's a real good way of learning. Any of you viewers out there who want to get into this lifestyle, obviously you can pay for courses and things like that. And I'm not saying that's bad. It's good to have a piece of paper saying you've learned this and that. But I have come across people who've done those courses, and for the thousands they spent, they didn't really seem to have that much knowledge. It seemed to be just, you know, what you need to pass the exam at the end, which a lot of times it's just remembering stuff theoretically and then being able to regurgitate it, which is like, you know, all sorts of schoolings like that, but actually hands-on learning and just doing stuff all the time, which is my sort of mantra, as you guys know, learning by doing. Well, for me anyway, and I think for a lot of people it's a better way to learn, because it's just, you're just doing stuff, and it's not, I don't have sort of a structured, I'm teaching Lewis every day this and that, but he's just observing and watching, and if he wants, he's asking questions as much as he wants, and you know, doing it that way. So I would say it's a pretty good preparation for buying your own boat, or if you have your own boat but want to get more experience going offshore, doing night passages, things like that. It's definitely a good way of doing it. So I would advise you, or like just suggest that, you know, look around and try and find a boat you can get on that's doing passages, because that's a real good way to learn. Well, he's bouncing between, well, he's looking at high-end boats really, but I don't know if it's a dream or not. He's looking at, there's an Ultramare 55 behind us and an Ultramare 51, part of some Sea Odyssey rally thing around the world, and he's salivating over them.
Yeah, I plan to need to do a heist or something first.
Yeah. It's been an amazing little trip. Yeah, I don't know what to say really. It's I'll probably look back on this as being a pretty awesome adventure, and it has been, but the goal is always, you know, just to get the boat here in one piece and then get to France. I'm sort of feeling guilty. I have been and still are feeling guilty that Marie is sort of, obviously she's with her parents and they're looking after her, but she is at the end of, you know, she's, you know, struggling to do things herself now and go shopping and things like that. She can't drive anymore and stuff. So I do feel a bit guilty leaving her for this time. But on the other side, you know, I'm preparing the boats here now for us to come back to with the family, and yeah, it should all work out pretty good. I mean, I know some of you commented on some of my fixes in Townsville, and yep, admittedly, I probably could have done some of the things, like the dagger board, could have probably fixed it slightly better, but it's got us here, you know. The fix worked. We've done 2,000 miles or 3,000 miles since then, and the dagger board's still working. If it breaks in the future, well, I'll fix it, but the main thing was getting here, you know. So whatever I had to do to get here, well, that's what I did, and so that worked out. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching all this, the Mad Dash. Obviously, this isn't the end of us making videos. This is just the end of one little chapter. And the next chapter will be when we come back and we start cruising as a little family. And I'll probably give you a little update. Our plans are, when we do get back, obviously, you guys have been watching us for a while. No, we've been to Indonesia before. We've actually spent quite a bit of time here. But in all that time, we never went to Borneo, Kalimantan, or Sulawesi, and they're two massive islands with huge difference of cultures all around the place, lots and lots of cool things to see. So we'll be spending 2024 around those two islands, and then we'll see what happens. But obviously our cruising will change slightly with a kid on board, but probably not that much. Like, we'll still do stuff, you know. Obviously we'll just have to plan stuff differently. We're not quite as free to go snorkeling for 3 hours, just me and Marie together. We'll have to take turns or whatever. But, you know, the kid is going to enrich our lives on the boat, and we hope you guys will, you know, enjoy that new part for us, you know. I'm super excited. I mean, Marie's going to make it absolutely awesome mum, and I hope I can hold up my part of the team, and yeah, it'll be a whole new adventure, and I'm super excited for it. You guys patrons, you guys all know it. You guys are really helping us out. You know, we probably wouldn't afford to do this without you guys, or I'd, you know, obviously have to go and work for a few months of the year to pay for this. Yeah, it's quite a bit of work bringing these videos every week, but I do really enjoy it, and I'm enjoying, well, I'm looking forward to making new videos now in Indonesia. Just the motivation and the inspiration with all different cultures and different things to see every day for me, you know. I grew up in New Zealand and Australia. The culture is awesome and all that, and it's beautiful there, but it's my culture. It's not something new for me. Every town I go to, it's sort of like, oh, I know this. There's a Woolies and there's a pub and there's a library and there's a few fishing boats, and every town's basically has that, you know. It was cool being in Australia, but really stoked and really looking forward to making videos again in places we don't know. So anyway, having said that, cheers again, mate.
Cheers, man.
Awesome to have you along. I'm going to prepare the boat to leave for 4 months or 5 months. So I'll show you guys how I prepare to leave the boat. I'll be draining the salt water, the engines, and taking the sails off and all that sort of stuff. So I'll show you guys that, and then yeah, after that I'll be in Europe. So, but anyway, we'll see you guys next week, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.